Knights of the Old Republic 2 has a completely different system of upgrading weapons than the previous installment. Most of the melee weapons in the game feature some upgradable aspect from the options of the blade edge, grip, and energy cells. Regular weapons mainly take the upgrades of the edge and grip, while weapons that feature the energy cell are all single blades, with the Vibro Double-Blade being an exception. Along with the introduction of crafting, the game has you craft upgrade items to equip into the weapons. Although these new systems grant the player more freedom to explore and tune their weapon to a specific build or playstyle that they like, the game also provides plenty of weapons that are powerhouses in their own right, that do not follow the upgrade scheme. We're going to go over all of the melee type weapons in the game that are substantial use that do not feature these upgrades. These weapons are going to be some of the special weapons found from either planets, characters, or enemy types that sometimes have a significant role in the story or historical context for some, like the Echani or Gamorreans for instance. The second game also introduces an aspect of the game with its somewhat randomized equipment spawns. It's not entirely random with an algorithm behind the scenes in the game that controls what drops, but that's all for another day to explain. With the random chance given drops of this game, I will consider the main location for the weapon to be found as its guaranteed drop location. However, there is a list of other places to get each weapon, and I will at least provide the number of other locations so you know the opportunities that lie elsewhere that are outside of the randomizer. For a weapon to be considered special, the weapon must be worth 5,000 credits. This criteria is based on my judgment of weapon quality by analyzing the full list of available melee weapons and determining the cutoff point where I believe the weapons have a full playthrough relevance for non-upgradable weapons. The credit value for these weapons is based on Strategy Wiki for the guaranteed location credit value listing. With our standard set, let's jump right in. The Gand Silencer can be found on Duxon in the Mandalorian ruins. The weapon is worth 7,590 credits and has a chance to be found in 5 additional locations. The item is held by the Mandalorian Sergeant, who presents the weapon to you as the champion of the battle circle if you win at level 13. Looking at my list, there's a lot of weapons that are gotten from this battle circle, and there's some weird rules for the battle circle drop, and honestly, just might give me another idea to follow up on. Probably in a short that leads to this video. Hey, if you came here from that short, welcome to my YouTube Inception. For now, I'm just going to go off the listed level. Upon further inspection, the description reads, "It's unclear whether this weapon was designed by the Gand or to silence them." The silencer deals 1 physical bludgeoning damage with a physical piercing bonus of 1 to 8 for a total range of 2 to 9. The weapon has an attack modifier of +1 with a 5% critical chance. There's a 25% on-hit stun chance for a 6-second duration with a DC of 22. The weapon garners pretty much all of its worth here, as a DC of 22 is exceptionally high, and the majority of enemies that fall in this 25% range will stun. The Gand Discharger can also be gotten from the Mandalorian Sergeant on Duxon if you win the battle circle at level 24. The weapon is worth 27,000 and can be received in 1 other location. The description of the weapon reads, "The pinnacle of Gand technology. The Discharger can both paralyze and slay opponents with ease. These potent items are extremely rare, as they are highly coveted by the few Gand who have earned them. Must be why a Mandalorian has it, as they took it in the name of honor.
Will welcome me home with honor."
The Discharger deals 1 physical bludgeoning damage with a bonus of 2 to 16 physical piercing for a total range of 3 to 17 damage. The weapon also has an attack modifier of +1 and a 5% critical hit chance. The on-hit stun chance is doubled to 50% with the same 6-second stun at a DC of 22. Like I previously stated, the weapon garners most of its worth from its high DC stun chance, but with the double chance to hit, with Master Force Speed and 3 hits dealt from your main hand, this weapon can almost stun every round on most opponents. The Rodian Deathblade can be obtained from the Sergeant at level 12, and on Onderon from Iz's Cantina from Sakari. The weapon is worth 6,000 credits from both locations, and can be found at 5 additional locations. The weapon description reads, "A more advanced version of the Rodian Blade, this savage weapon leaves its victim writhing in pain. Its design is unsuitable for weapon upgrades." Hey, look at that, glad you made it on the list. The Deathblade deals 1 to 6 physical piercing damage with an additional 1 slashing for a range of 2 to 7 damage. The blade has an attack modifier of +1 with a 5% critical chance and balanced properly in the offhand. The weapon has 2 on-hit attribute damages for Constitution with a DC of 10 and Strength at a DC of 14. This weapon is meant to be a supporting offhand weapon that helps deal with brute type enemies. Knocking down some Constitution and Strength points would allow you to dodge more melee attacks from these enemies, as well as succeed on much more physical based attacks that cause the enemy to make saving throws while making their feats and rolls less effective. The Twi'lek spinning blade comes in 2 versions, one for each of the twin suns. They can be encountered either in the Entertainment Promenade or on Goto's yacht. Each blade is worth 10,000 credits and can only be found from this duo. The blades have the same description reading. The deadly Twi'lek twin sons each wielded one of these deadly blades. Their victims had the rare pleasure of witnessing their beauty choreographed slain. The first blade deals 1 to 6 piercing damage with an attack modifier of +1. The blade has an on-hit effect of attribute damage to strength with a DC of 18. The other blade deals the same with an additional +2 to physical slashing instead of the attack modifier. The on-hit attribute for this weapon is Constitution with a DC of 18. Both weapons feature the balance attribute with a 5% crit chance. They give each of the twins these to attack you with and reduce your strength and constitution. For main character, I wouldn't really look at these as a primary weapon use, but supporting party members could provide a good debuff to enemies to allow you to cut through them. The Tehk'la Blade can be gotten on Dixon from the Mandalorian Sergeant at level 22, with one other opportunity to receive it. The blade is worth 23,000 credits and its description reads, "The weapon is favored by the Nagai, a species of slender humanoids who appear more dead than alive. Known for their honor and combat skill, the Nagai use these serrated weapons to cripple their opponents. Small size makes this a good offhand weapon. Vibroblades use a cortices weave to present lightsaber sparring damage, allowing traditional swordplay to continue in the time of Jedi and Sith. The weapon has an attack range of 6 to 15 damage split between slashing and piercing damage. The weapon has an attack modifier of +1 with a bonus feat for improved critical strike. The crit chance is 10% and is balanced in the offhand. This weapon is directed towards a critical hit build designed to deal massive damage at a higher chance without investing in the critical strike feat. Not a bad weapon and deals a very consistent minimum damage. Shyarn sounds more like a woman in the Star Wars universe than a weapon. However, it is a weapon and is also found from the Sergeant at level 19. There are 3 other areas to get the weapon and it has a value of 18,000 credits. This primitive looking weapon hails from the Saurian species, who employ it in traditional honor duels. It is crafted with ancient techniques and rare metals. Shyarn are magnetically attracted to each other, often locking together during parries. This strange property results in duels that are amazing and deadly dances of survival. The weapon deals 6 to 17 physical slashing damage with an attack modifier of +1. The sword has a bonus feat of improved flurry and a 5% critical hit range. This weapon has only one goal in mind: get consistent hits in with very consistent damage. Nothing too fancy for debuffs or criticals, just some good old hack and slash. Forgive me for the pronunciation throw up this might be. The Arg'garok is a Gamorrean axe received from the Mandalorian Sergeant at level 20 on Dixon with 2 other drop locations. The axe is worth 18,500 credits and described as the most prized Gamorrean weapon. These huge axes are designed to be wielded by those with a low center of gravity and tremendous strength, making them awkward for most non-Gamorreans to use. The weapon deals a massive range of 3 to 36 damage, 3 dice with 12 sides. The weapon has an improved power attack bonus feat and an on-hit 25% stun chance at a DC of 18 for 6 seconds. All of this is amazing and balanced with a -5 attack modifier. This weapon is supposed to eliminate your enemies in a single blow. Your character is going to need a very good strength score or dexterity attribute score with a finesse attribute to even land a hit, but by God, when you do, you will destroy your enemies. Even as a single wield, you can maintain some attack bonus, tack on a master speed for 2 extra hits, and throw out that improved power attack, and suddenly have the potential to deal over 100 damage with a single weapon in a single turn. The Geonosian Electro-Staff is obtained from Dixon as well at level 21 from the Sergeant with a single other drop location. The weapon is worth 20,950 credits, and its description reads, Geonosians are winged bipeds, covered with protective bony plates. They are highly competitive and generally look down on other species. Their electro-staves therefore only rarely find their way off the world of Geonosis. This weapon must be rare due to its rarity outside of Geonosis. The staff deals 1 to 6 bludgeoning damage with a bonus of 3 to 18 electrical damage for a total range of 4 to 24 damage. The weapon is a staff and therefore deals 2 attack rolls per round and is balanced. The weapon, like most, has a 5% critical range, and the objective of this weapon is to just deal a very decent and consistent damage with some being electrical. The upside to this is the difference between physical and electrical damage, so any physical shields worn by enemies will be bypassed, and the same for electrical or environmental shields. This way you can wear down shields on enemies while always dealing damage. The Gand Shockstaff is up next, and wow, as the 3rd Gand weapon on this list, they just really know how to make good stunning weapons that are effective but unchanging. The Shockstaff is gotten from the Sergeant at level 18 and 2 other areas. The weapon is worth 16,000 credits and reads, this weapon was developed by Gand Findsmen to help them herd their prey. Its powerful stunning capabilities are backed up by the weapon's sharp tip. The staff deals 2 to 12 bludgeoning damage with an on-hit stun chance of 50% for 9 seconds with a DC of 14. The staff is balanced with a 5% critical chance. Like the others, the staff is utilized for its stun, but this time with a longer stun and 2 weapon hits. Weirdly enough though, the weapon touts its sharp tip, but is missing a single point of piercing damage, but a sword can have piercing damage. Whatever, I didn't write this shit. The Trandoshan Double-Blade is gotten from the Sergeant at level 15, however can be gotten at 5 other locations. This weapon is worth 10,235 credits, oddly specific, and reads, while most cultures abandon the primitive sword in favor of vibroblades or other weapons, the Trandoshan sometimes use the weapon as a badge of honor. This variant is made of the rare ore Kalon, and is sharper and heavier than a typical blade. They are not suitable for weapon upgrades, however. The double blade deals 6 to 20 slashing damage with an attack modifier of +2. The weapon has a 5% critical hit chance, but on a critical, the weapon deals a standard 2 times damage with an additional roll of a d8. This weapon is really lackluster overall, but has a better attack mod than most here, and additional damage on criticals with a balanced double blade. It'll deal pretty good damage, but that's how it goes when it's not worth as much as most of the others here. Freyr's Warblade is the highest achievement for the Battle Circle and gotten after winning at level 25. There's a single other location to get it at, and with a net worth of 29,955 credits, the developers are just as stupid for the piercing damage earlier as they were for not just making this a 30,000 credit flat. Does it matter at all? No. Am I going to bring it up in this video because it's useless and we're going to include it anyways? Yes. Carved upon this mighty Warblade is a symbol of the Wookiee chieftain Freyyr. How this weapon found its way off the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk is unknown. The Blade of Freyyr deals a crazy 5 to 32 slashing damage with a 10% critical hit chance and an attack modifier of +1. As a two-handed weapon, it is automatically balanced and will attack twice in a single round. This weapon is actually kind of crazy. It is just straight up and down hands with this thing, and with a -5 attack modifier loss from the Gamorrean axe to this having a +1 instead, any melee build character that utilizes this weapon will slash through enemies like a knife through butter. Or maybe even a Wookiee through meatbag flesh. Not much to say here other than if you equip it, your enemies will fall. That is all the weapons that are available in Knights of the Old Republic 2 that are special class, and to be honest, I should have just made this a video about the Battle Circle instead. More opportunity on that for another time, however, because I find the mechanics on that interesting, and could be a good thing to know if you are looking at getting to these weapons. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, you should subscribe, because what do you know, I'm going into KOTOR 2 content, and if you like that along with KOTOR 1, then I'll give you your fill. If you would like to support me further, you can head to my Pally page where you can donate and achieve my goals of upgrading my setup to make my videos and streams better for you guys. Link will be in the description below. As always, a man is lost without the sauce, but that same man can get lost in the sauce. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.